send over the screenplay called Back to Bolton for us to dive into today.
Oh,
And skimming through it, it seems like we've got a lot to unpack here. We're talking family secrets, emotional baggage, the whole nine yards.
it's one of those stories that really pulls you in, you know. Starts with a simple premise, a family visit, but then layer by layer, it reveals all these deeper, sometimes even unsettling truths.
Yeah, absolutely. Right off the bat, we're introduced to Julie, our protagonist, and her aging parents, Shirley and Bill. It has this very, everyday family visit vibe at first, with Julie just trying to connect with her folks.
Right.
But then we get to that scene at the pet cemetery, and that's where things took a turn for me.
Ah, you're talking about Tiggy's grave.
Exactly. That's when those little cracks in Shirley's mental state start to show.
All
It's
right.
subtle, but that whole thing about her wanting to get another cat, but for their dog, which they don't even have. It's like a little red flag foreshadowing what's to come with her memory.
Yeah, yeah. The writer does a great job at that, using these seemingly ordinary moments to plant those seeds of doubt in the viewer's mind.
Mm.
You're left wondering, wait, what's really going on here? What's real, what's not?
And that whole thing with Julie visiting a separate grave, one for a child named Patrick. I mean, talk about heavy stuff right from the beginning.
Yeah.
You instantly get the sense that she's carrying some unspoken grief, even before things with Shirley start to unravel.
Oh, absolutely. Julie's clearly wrestling with her own past, even at that early stage. And the way the writer intertwines those past traumas with what's happening in the present, it creates this underlying sense of unease that just builds and builds throughout that first act.
For sure. And then, boom, the story shifts gears as the family heads to Bolton for a friend's birthday. What starts as a normal trip turns into, well, things get pretty intense.
It's like going back to Bolton unlocks something in Shirley. All these buried memories start to surface, and that's when she drops the bombshell. The secret child that she gave up before marrying Bill.
Wow, yeah. Talk about a revelation that shakes things up. I mean, can you imagine being Bill in that moment? Your whole world just gets flipped upside down. And then there's Julie, already dealing with her own loss, now suddenly fixated on finding this brother she never knew existed.
It's like the whole family dynamic is shattered in an instant. And that's what I think makes the screenplay so powerful. It uses this one event to propel the narrative forward while simultaneously adding such depth to the characters. Julie's desperation to connect with her half-brother, it becomes so intertwined with her own past, like she's trying to fill a void she's been carrying for years.
Yeah. It's almost as if she sees this search as a chance to, I don't know, maybe right some past wrongs, both her own and her mother's.
Exactly. And you've got Julie diving headfirst into this investigation, while at the same time, Shirley's struggling to hold on to those fragmented memories. It's like they're both on these parallel journeys, trying to make sense of the past as it slips away.
It really makes you think, how each of us deals with loss and unanswered questions.
For sure. And the writer doesn't give you any easy answers.
So by the end of Act 2, we've got this family, completely fractured, secrets spilling out, and everyone grappling with this past that refuses to stay buried. Each character's on their own path of self-discovery, but where does it all lead? Act 3, things really start to heat up, you know what I mean? Julie's need to find her brother, it sends her on this whole investigative journey. She's contacting tracing agencies, digging into online records, almost like she's chasing a ghost in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where the story takes this really intriguing turn, I think.
Yeah.
Because while Julie's on this very outward search, Shirley, she's on this internal one. Her dementia, it almost becomes like a parallel investigation, Memories surfacing, disappear, but like these fleeting clues.
Oh, that's a great point. They're both searching for something, for sure, but in such different ways. And it makes you really contemplate how we as people deal with loss, with unanswered questions, right? Some of us, we need to uncover every single detail, like Julie, and others, maybe they find some kind of peace in the unknown, like Shirley.
Exactly. And that's what makes this screenplay so engaging, I think. Because the writer doesn't give you any easy answers. You're left grappling with these complex ideas about memory, about our identity, about family, without being told what to think.
It really sticks with you. And speaking of family, what about those other characters in this whole situation? Julie's sister, Lisa. Talk about a different approach to this family bombshell.
Oh, absolutely. Lisa is, she's very practical, very grounded in the present. And she sees Julie's quest, this search for their half-brother, as potentially damaging, I guess you could say. Like it's going to dredge up all these old wounds that might be better left alone.
And that clash between their perspectives, it creates such a I don't know, a compelling dynamic. You've got Lisa pleading with Julie to let go of the past, but it falls on deaf ears because Julie's so laser focused on finding her brother. It's like she's trying to reclaim a part of herself that's been missing.
Yeah, yeah. And then you've got Bill right in the middle of all this emotional chaos. He's the quiet one, but he's the anchor.
That steady presence for sure. Might not say a whole lot, but his actions, they speak volumes, right? Bill, he reminds us that even when these huge revelations come to light, love, loyalty, it can endure.
It's true. Yeah. And the writer does a brilliant job with his character because Bill, he represents that generation where secrets were kept hidden. It was about protecting people, or at least they thought it was. But then this story unfolds, and you see how even the best intentions can have these unforeseen consequences.
And those consequences, they can echo through generations.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, are some secrets better left buried? Or is confronting them, even if it's painful, the only way to truly move forward? This screenplay, it really makes you think about those tough questions. We've talked a lot about these characters, their journeys, and it makes me think about the title, Back to Bolton. It's not just some random place, right? It's like Bolton itself is the key to unlocking this whole family mystery.
Yeah, it's more than just a setting, for sure.
Right.
The writer uses Bolton almost like a symbol. Memory, roots, how the past can weigh on the present.
Totally. Going back forces them to confront things, not just their own personal histories, but those hidden truths that have shaped who they are as a family.
Absolutely. And it's not just a physical return to Bolton either. Those flashbacks to Shirley's younger years, the choices she made back then, they add another layer to everything.
It's like those choices have just been echoing through the years, affecting everyone.
Right. And then there's the whole ethical question surrounding Julie's search. I mean, wanting to know the truth, that's understandable, but where do you draw the line? Family, privacy, it gets complicated.
Definitely. When does your need to know, even if it's valid, start to potentially hurt someone else? Especially with Shirley's condition, it makes you think.
It's a tough one. And that's what I like about this screenplay. It makes you really grapple with these big questions, family dynamics, consequences.
It's not black and white, that's for sure. As we wrap up here, I have to say, I'm left feeling, I don't know, melancholy, maybe a little hopeful too.
Interesting.
Melancholy for the lost time, the secrets, but hopeful for understanding, maybe even some kind of peace.
That's the power of a good story, though, right?
Yeah.
Sticks with you, makes you reflect, see things differently.
It really does. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored the plot, those complex characters, those ethical dilemmas. But as you continue thinking about Back to Bolton, consider this. How would this translate to the screen? What cinematic choices would you make to really capture the essence of memory and loss?
I love that question. I think there's so many possibilities there.
So much to unpack. Until next time, keep those pages turning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.